It's so difficult being somebody you're not. So make sure you lean into things that make you happy, because it will make your everyday life much better. How to define your style. Question I get asked a lot. Something that just doesn't happen overnight. Something that's practiced, it's a bit of a reward for effort, I think a style is. So you ultimately are your very own superpower. So there is only one you, and that needs to be celebrated. I think in a noisy world of social media and accessible content, it's very easy to be distracted by trying to be somebody you're not. Because we're constantly being shown the perfect pictures on social media, on Instagram, or the perfect picture of food, or my clients are great and I earn this much money, but nobody's really telling you all the dark behind the scenes stuff. Well, I do a little bit. But, I think the importance here of what I'm trying to say is try not to get distracted by, what is classified as a style. So you can see the carousel content creators. There are logo designers on Instagram not sharing any logo designs. I think it's mad, because the social media hype and the need for social media love and engagement seems to be outweighing the need for a long career and work. So I think what you've really got to do to help you to define your own style is to really lean into yourself, and you are unique. I think the chances of you being here are something I'm not even going to say a number because it'll be a lie, but let's just say 40 million to 1. That's the chances of you being on this planet. Timmy will put a disclaimer here saying not accurate information, but maybe we'll put the right number up. But that shows you how unique you are. There's only one of you. So we really, really, really need to dive into that to help you stand out within a pretty competitive market. Think about these. What makes you different? What are the things that you do that nobody else does? What are the things that, for example, I've also got here, what are your failures? What are the things that you've done wrong in your life? Lean into your past. Think about all the things that not necessarily have always gone right, but what have also gone wrong. Also here, what have been your successes? Every single individual thing that you've gone through has made you the person you are today. So always remember the good and the bad. Weird habits. What are the weird things you do? Do you have crazy quirks? Do you wear a certain colour all the time? Do you have a gold tooth? Do you have a beard? Do you like eating dog-flavoured ice cream? Don't eat dog-flavoured ice cream. That is not the right thing to say, because all of us have dogs here. Josh is laughing because I think he's had dog-flavoured ice cream before. But do not have that because it's not good for the dog. But you know what I mean? If there's anything that makes you weird, you can really use that as a tool. The idea is to kind of attract, your own audience. You don't need the whole pie. You just need a tiny little slice of pie, your pie, finding the right people. So my tip top Tommy here is, I spent so long hiding my true identity, and it did not help my career or me personally. Leaning into the real you will help you become more human, and your growth and happiness will shine. It's so difficult being somebody you're not. So make sure you lean into things that make you happy, because it will make your everyday life much better. So let's go on to the benefits. What are the benefits of being yourself? The right people will find you. This is something I struggled with for a very long time. I thought I needed to wear a suit. I was told, you'll have to wear a suit to meetings. You can't have tattoos on show. You can't, you need to have a shave. You're not going to make any money out of art. As soon as I kind of leaned into my own personality and decided, do you know what? This is the person I am. this is the person I want to be, and I'm going to share that with the world, I started to find an audience, and I've started to find you, because you enjoyed listening to me, you crazy person. You enjoyed, spending time with me and seeing my world, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't lean into myself. If you are truly yourself, you'll find your tribe, and I think that's so powerful. Number 2, people want to work with real people. I think it's, like I said, I don't want to kind of bitch and moan about social media too much, but it's such an important thing in our generation of like how we communicate and how we talk with people now, and perceived importance by followers and likes, which is all bullcrap, to be fair. But people want to work with real people, and the more honest, the more true you are to yourself, the more approachable you come. And people can sniff bullshit a mile away. People can tell if you're faking it. So make sure you lean into yourself, because real people want to work with real people. Number 3 here, faking it is tiring. Like I said, like early in my career, I definitely had to hide myself a lot. I had to, what I would classify as hold my tongue, I suppose. Is that a saying? Hold my tongue? Yeah, I used to have to stop myself from saying certain things for fear of not fitting in, or standing out too much, or upsetting somebody. And I think, there is a point where you just don't want to be rude to people or be a dick. But if there's something you're truly passionate about, don't hide it. Lean into it. And that's like faking it is tiring in a way that, if you're constantly trying to be somebody you're not, crikey, it's difficult being yourself all day, let alone trying to be somebody else. So just bear that in mind. And the biggest win out of all of these things about leaning into yourself is, when you have confidence in who you are as a human, when you have confidence in yourself, you have confidence in what you do and how you talk to people, you no longer have to hide or put effort into those things, and that will allow your creativity to grow exponentially. You'll just be able to lean into all that goodness without any thought or care for anybody around you. And that's such a wonderful, wonderful thing, and a wonderful place to get to, because you just create for yourself and you create with your own voice, and that is super, super powerful. Tip top Tommy. Tip top Tommy time. Maybe we could have a little jingle there. Tip top Tommy time. Being open and honest about your faults will make you more approachable and relatable. Share your failed concepts. Share stories of failure, but do it your own way and in your own time. This is something else I want to approach. I'm extremely open and honest, but that's taken me 38 years to get comfortable with. I'm very comfortable with who I am, where I'm going, how I communicate with people. I know who I am and I know my tribe. But just because I do it doesn't mean you have to start doing it tomorrow. I lean into a lot of bad stuff that's happened in my life. I don't want to hide from it anymore because it was holding me back. Now I use it as a powerful tool to hopefully help other people understand that even if you go through all that bad stuff, you can still become anything you want. And I want to really powerfully communicate that to people, because sometimes we dwell on our past, but you've got to take your time. Finding yourself and being confident with yourself is a journey, and it doesn't happen overnight. So just be very wary. Don't rush anything. Don't do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. But when you're ready, start slowly, share a little bit more, and I guarantee you'll find commonalities with people all around the world who have been where you are, struggled, won, lost, and all the rest of it. So just enjoy the journey of opening up. I think that's really important. And another thing I just want to say, none of this is scripted. So if I'm babbling, and I'm babbling now, but I just want to tell you, I'm trying to I want this to feel like you're in here with me. I don't want it to feel like I'm just talking off a script, because A, I can't read, and B, I'm dyslexic, so it'll just go to be a massive shit show. But I just wanted you to know that this is all not scripted, so I kind of want, maybe we can just give each other like a virtual high five now. Well, I even got one from these two, which is nice. So anyway, babble over. How this helps you define your style. So there are 4 Ps. I've mentioned this in my book, I've mentioned it on social media a bit, but I'm going to dive into it a little bit more here. So we've got personality, passion, and process. And then what we do is we wrap those in a little patient blanket. So I truly believe that if you concentrate on these 4 Ps, not necessarily concentrate on them, but lean into them and think about them, it will help you to define your style moving forward. So let me break those down for you. Personality. Understand yourself. Be at one with yourself. So think about what kind of person you are. Do you have any character quirks? What are you like around your friends? Personality plays such a key role in how we create the style we create with. And that energy, those values, those adjectives, so what I would suggest, my tip-top Tommy here is, we're always most comfortable around our closest friends. They see our true self. Ask them to describe you in 3 words, because these can help you build a narrative around your personality. So go to your mum, go to your dad, or maybe not with your mum and dad actually, because they might say something nice, which they don't mean. So go maybe to like your best friend or a couple of friends and just ask them to describe you in 3 words. And what that can do is that can give you a true representation of how your best friends are seeing you, and then you can use that as a communication tool. So I know my friends are like they call me like super outgoing, like honest to a fault, and friendly. So those are 3 things I try and lean into in my personal brand and my business. So go and chat to your mates, and hey, chatting to your mates is fun anyway, even if it's not about work. So go and tell them you love them. That'd be a nice thing to do. Passion. Embrace your loves. So I think it's really important to remember that your passions will find you over time. But also, like, your passions don't just have to be today. Like, think about all the things that you've done in the past and all the things that you've loved in the past. And what, mine, for example, like tattoo culture, skate culture, like the music we like, anything, like the clothes you wear, the films you like, all of these passions can help you to define a style. So if you look at, I've got a big arty background. That's a passion of mine. I've done it since I was a tiny tot, Or I've lent into all of these passions to help me define my style. So you'll see, like, even within like my logo design stuff now, there is quite a creative mind behind it. It is quite illustrative. It leans into, some slightly quirky 90s, empty swimming pool skater boy kind of vibe, where I try and really lean into those things that I've loved and I've enjoyed, and I try and bring those into my everyday, because they're part of my personality, they're part of my passion. Try and lean into all the things that excite you, and you can use those as tools to help you navigate your creativity moving forward. And I think, just on the side note of that, I think what happens is when we start a new job, or we figure out a mission, or we start in business, we think we've got to forget about the past to kind of make our future, but it's actually the other way around. I think you have to lean into your past to allow you to fashion your future. All of that stuff, all that drawing I did, all of those, posters on the wall of skaters and stuff like that, all of the tattoo apprenticeship I've done, I'm using all of that and using all that loving energy and bringing that into my daily job. And it makes it fun. It makes it great. So don't forget about your past. Embrace your past to make your future. So tip top Tommy, whoa. Your passions will constantly evolve as you get older. New things will pop up. Remember that passions can be personal and not all require a monetary reward. Sometimes money will kill a passion. So, I know some friends who are fantastic artists, but as soon as you ask them, or as soon as it becomes a job, as soon as there's a time restraint or a timeline, or there's a monetary transaction involved, you can lose the passion for it. So I think it's really important to have passions that don't involve some sort of monetary reward. Mine's walking. I walk for me. That gives me peace. That gives me rest. That gives me a mindful zone to recover. You know, if I started doing competitions, for example, to win or to do this, I think the love and the passion of it would probably be diminished. So just because you're passionate at something doesn't mean you need to turn it in to some sort of business or get some sort of reward for it. You know, it's important to have time off. Time off is important. And then the final circle in the inner circle or in the outer circle is process. So your way rules all. So how do you create? How do you think? How do you communicate? You know, if we look at me, for example, I've always been very hands-on. I've always been very sketchy. I've always drawn. I've always shared my process. I've always shared how I think through like mind maps and all that kind of stuff. I take that in. You know, even when I was doing like sketches like this one behind me, I would sketch it out first, then re-sketch it, then change it, then re-sketch it. There's always a process and a development process. I've now taken that into logo work. So when you start to mix these things here, you can start to understand how, you know, your personality, your passion and your process can start to mold your own unique style. And it will be unique because you'll have very different passions from everybody. You'll have very different process from everybody. Or to be fair, you might not have very different passions, process, but when you put the three together, they will become very different because they'll be the way you execute them with your own personality. So, Tip Top Tommy on this one is a process can only be created by doing. It will evolve over time as your mind and skills do. What works for one won't work for the next. All that matters is it works for you. And I think that's something extremely important to remember is just because I draw doesn't mean you should draw. Just because I've got a passion for tattoo art doesn't mean you should have a passion for tattoo art. You know, I think what's happening is people are falling for, excuse me, the trap of, you know, faking a process or faking sketching because it looks like, you know, good on social media even, and all you're doing is you're wasting time. So just because I draw, and I'm going to show you all of my process deeper down in I think it's module 3, 4, 5 or 6 or one of them, you know, I'm going to show you all that kind of stuff. But that just because I do it doesn't mean you have to. You've got to lean into what makes you unique. And if it works for you, crack on, mate. And then, so we got personality, we got passion, and we got process. And what we need to do is wrap that in a little golden blanket called patience. You know, you're not going to be, if you started your design career yesterday, you're not going to have a style, and you won't have a style for some time. And even if, you know, you do feel that you've got a style, it will evolve. You know, your style is patience and practice being rewarded. You know, over time it will evolve. It will continue to possibly have, you know, elements that have stuck around for a long time, but it will continually evolve as you do. So be patient, enjoy the process, enjoy the passion, and enjoy the personality. You know, I think in this world, like I said, there's so many people trying to be the same thing. And what I wish I had done earlier as well is just gone, do you know what? If I'm just myself, I'm going to be happier and I'm going to make it in my own way, doing my own thing. And the sooner you can try and do that, the better, because I guarantee you'll win.